4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for joining us right here on Facebook Live. I'm meteorologist Michael Estime. We are tracking some strong to severe storms popping up right here in Northeast Ohio. So, of course, we want to get you right to the maps and show you exactly for you this evening. You'll notice that the National Weather Service out of Cleveland has issued several severe thunderstorm warnings shaded in that orange coloring. We'll zoom in first on what we're seeing in Richland County. That's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect through 6 p.m. this evening. And you can see the heavy showers and thunderstorms associated with it. A lot of lightning in there, over 90 strikes within the past 10 minutes. And it's centered right now right over downtown Mansfield. So boy, it is an electrical storm outside as we speak. That's going to continue to move toward the northeast at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So it's lumbering along, if you will. That'll bring it into Vermilion at about 5:50, Ashland just before 6 p.m., Jeromesville just after 6 o'clock, and then towards Roseburg at about 6:16. And contained within that, by the way, some pretty sizable hail as well. Our hail size estimator anywhere between, say, 1 inch to 2 inches. Now, I think a lot of that's most likely going to evaporate before reaching the ground, and there's going to be a lot of melting with that as well. But nevertheless, though, just to kind of give you a heads up, an idea here that hail will also be a hallmark with this thunderstorm. So we mentioned before, it is not just the thunderstorm that we're seeing in parts of Richland County, but also you'll notice up toward the islands, just southwest of the islands, in fact. You can see where Put-in-Bay is. I'll circle that here for a second. Here's where Put-in-Bay is, and of course you're familiar with Kelly's Island as well, and where Cedar Point is. Cedar Point is this little tip right here. And these thunderstorms that we're tracking for you this evening, heading generally toward the northeast. I'll put this into motion for you so you can see the storm's movement, but that's going to bring it right into Put-in-Bay. It'll bring it into Sandusky and Cedar Point here soon as well. These thunderstorms, generally speaking, as we mentioned, moving at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So let's time this one out to see when this one would move on into Sandusky, Cedar Point area. If you're joining me from Cedar Point, we'd expect this toward Sandusky in Cedar Point at about 6:20-ish or so, and then eventually impacting Kelly's Island around 6:30. So a lot of boaters, of course, out on the water today, given how beautiful of an afternoon it was. But again, with these bubble-up showers and thunderstorms moving in, this is a great time to head back onshore and back onto the mainland. So you'll notice that toward Put-in-Bay, a very popular destination spot, especially now with summer winding on down, we're expecting for that thunderstorm there to impact Catawba Island just before the top of the hour, and then Put-in-Bay just after the top of the hour. The actual severe thunderstorm warned storm itself is actually this kind of linear storm right here, and all of this, so the brunt of this would then move into Sandusky and then eventually toward Put-in-Bay and Kelly's Island within the next hour to, or I should say the next hour and a half to 2 hours. So that would bring it into Bellevue at about 6:12, Port Clinton at about 6:30, Sandusky at about 6:45 to 6:50. And again, that's going to be the main brunt of that severe thunderstorm. Again, capable of bringing down a couple of trees and a few power lines as well. Excuse me. In fact, we've already seen a couple of downed trees and a few branches being taken down toward Mansfield. So should all this stuff hold together, which we're pretty much expecting that it's going to, this is moving into a really favorable environment. I think that in Northeast Ohio proper, so Cleveland, Akron down toward Canton, we'll say between 6 p.m. and about 10 p.m. this evening, we're expecting for these severe thunderstorms and stronger storms to move on through. So long story short, if you're joining me from Cleveland and you're thinking about doing date night tonight, out perhaps on outside, this is really not going to be a great night for it just because of the heavy showers and thunderstorms that we're tracking for you this evening. Good news is, as I was scanning this earlier and looking at our base radio velocities, yes, there is certainly some intense winds in there. I'll show that to you in just a moment, but I'm not seeing any sort of rotation. So I think that our tornadic threat, or the threat for tornadoes, will be really low, which is the good news. Excuse me, I have a cold here. But you'll notice, though, that right on the border of Richland County moving toward Ashland County, we are tracking some pretty gusty winds. You'll notice that our velocity is between 40 to nearly 60 miles per hour, right on the leading edge of that. So let me put that radar back on there for you and show you where I think the strongest of the winds would be right around here, right along Ohio State Route 42, moving in the direction of Ashland. So I'll time this out in just a second and show you when I'd expect that to be in Ashland. But again, that would mean strong, perhaps even damaging winds possible. So as I was mentioning, what we're going to see out of this is going to be some pretty strong winds moving right into Ashland. So moving at 20 miles per hour, which is what the National Weather Service is estimating this to be moving at, this would bring it into Ashland at about 5:53. So just before the top of the hour. And I'll put this into motion for you. And you can see, again, it's moving at a pretty good clip. And I think that that would move in within the next, say, 10 to 15 minutes. So in Ashland, watch out. This would be a great time to bring in some of the patio furniture that you might have outside. This is a great time to run outside and maybe even bring your car underneath a carport or into a garage, because as we mentioned before, we were tracking some hail. I'll show you what our vertically integrated liquid product looks like. This gives us an indication not only where the heaviest of the rain is, but also where possible hail would be. And as of this point, it's zeroing in just north of Mansfield, right along Walker Lake Road and toward Bowman Street, and along, say, Carnes Road. That's where the heaviest of the rain would be. This is also going to be where perhaps some hail might be as well. So heavy rain and hail certainly going to be a hallmark just north of Mansfield in Richland County. So right here is where that bullseye of torrential rain and hail is. This is all going to move toward the east, as we were mentioning, at about, say, 20 miles per hour. And it looks like the National Weather Service, by the way, excuse me, has just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Ashland County. We were just talking about this a moment ago because of the fact that we were seeing some really intense winds out of this system. So this, as we mentioned before, now a severe thunderstorm warn storm moving toward Ashland. As we mentioned, that'll move on into Ashland at about 5:50 to 5:55. So just before the 6 o'clock hour, we can expect perhaps even winds capable of bringing down those trees and power lines. And man, that can be such a huge headache for so many folks. So this is a great time if you have your car parked outside to bring that car underneath that carport or into a garage, because the last thing that you want is for downed trees to be on your vehicle. Unfortunately, we saw that over this weekend in parts of Summit County with the storms that moved on through there. Let's get local with this and show you what it looks like and where the storm is currently and where it's heading. If you're joining me from Weller, you literally only have a couple of minutes to kind of get into your safe spots, because that's going to be literally in your neck of the woods here within the next few minutes. In fact, moving at 20 miles per hour, that would bring it into Weller at 5:50. So current time is 5:44. 5:50 is in the next 6 minutes. Towards Shenandoah at about 5:47 is when you can expect some heavy showers and perhaps strong to severe thunderstorms, bringing down those trees and power lines. And another thing that's kind of an interesting feature, excuse me, and we'll wait for the radar beam to once again kind of loop over this area towards Critter Road, rather. Do you notice those areas of pink? That pink is an indication of torrential rain. Notice that our rainfall rates over 2¼ inches per hour. That is blinding rain right along Ohio State Route 603. And that's that type of rain where you pull over to the side of the road because it's hard to even make out what's in front of you as you're driving along Interstate 71. It's going to be a real slow go of things from parts of Ashland County through Richland County. And just to put a much further time track on this for you real quick, I know that a lot of folks are probably wondering, all right, so when is this going to impact parts of Medina County or perhaps southern Lorain County? If you look real closely at this little indicator that I have pulling out, notice how it says 150. That means 1 hour and 50 minutes. So in an hour and 50 minutes is when we'd expect for this storm system, if it holds together, that little cell that we're tracking, that's when it would impact Medina. Should it hold together and move into Cleveland, we're talking about the next 3 hours or so. That would bring us into the 8 o'clock hour if this holds together. So again, to put another time track on this for you, and again, this is going to be a rough sketch on this, but this would move into, say, Ashland at about 5:45, New London about 6:15 to 6:20, Congress at about 6:30 to 6:35, Wellington just before the 7 o'clock hour, and then if it holds together, toward Oberlin College around 7:10. I know that a lot of outdoor events are going on and taking place with the start of the new school year. And so this will be one of those storm systems where, again, it might catch a couple of folks off guard because so many other people are preoccupied with what's going on with the new school year starting, that, again, I think that that if you have friends or family that are out and around, say, Oberlin College, just give them a quick phone call and tell them what's on the way. So we'll, of course, send you back to your Facebook Live, and feel free to continue scrolling on through. But should we see any other additional severe thunderstorms pop on up, we'll make sure that we pop on in and let you know. In the meantime, so that you're staying weather aware this evening, we'll, of course, be back with you on Channel 3 News, not only at 6 p.m., but 7 o'clock and 11 p.m. right here on WKYC. And of course, we'll break in once again, not only on air should there be a tornado warning, but also online should any more severe thunderstorm warnings be issued. Recap, if you're joining me from around the islands, Put-in-Bay, Kelly's Island area, Cedar Point, and Sandusky, time to get inside. We'll keep a track of these storms for you through the 6 o'clock hour. We'll see you right here on Channel 3 in about 15 minutes.